This conference will now be recorded.
Hi all. So welcome to performance testing with JMeter core to master level, and this will be day 4. Okay. So as a recap, from day 3, in day 3, like yesterday, we discussed about core concept. We started core concept, and we are talking about HTTP protocol, right? So we'll continue with that. So in this, so yesterday, what we see, we have seen that every request, right? Every request uh, act as a HTML HTTP request, right? And server returns the response. The response always comes in code format. Once it comes to the browser, the embedded resources on that page is retrieved or downloaded by the browser, and then whole thing is processed, right? And then the website makes beautiful, is made beautiful for us, or that page is made beautiful for us. Okay. Now this request, the request and response is divided into two parts. Okay, so it's divided into two parts. The request is divided into two parts: request body and request headers. And response is divided into two parts, again response body and response headers, right? So that is what header part, correct? You see the 5 schema we are talking about. So request, response, and headers, right? Two more will come later on: request, response, and headers. Okay, so now in that, request is divided into two parts: request body and response, request headers, and response is divided into two parts: response body and response headers. So we'll have a look. So remember that generally, right, the request body, generally the URL, right, the URL that goes from our end to the server, that is the part of request body, correct? Sometimes this request URL has some data like user inputs or form data or uploaded file, which makes the request body, correct? So let me just open again. So I'm opening that F12 dev tool, right? And so here, the main request, right? Let us say www.amazon.in, right? The main request. Other are the embedded resources, correct? So this main request, or you click on this, or let us say you do any other action. So let us say just click on this mobile. So this is the request, right, for clicking on that mobile, right? When I clicked on that mobile, this request got generated. You can see this over here. Okay. uh, just a second. Okay, so if I click on that request, right, so if I come here, you'll get a informational table, right? So here you see that request information will be there. Apart from that, below, if you see a table called response headers, and if you scroll down, request headers table will be there, right? So I'll come to the headers part later on. So this is what, right? This is what I'm talking about, that a request is divided into two parts, request body and request header. Response is divided into two parts, response body and response headers. Let us first understand request body. So request is divided into two parts, correct? Request body and request header. So what will be there in request body, or which thing we can call as a request body? The URL. The URL will be called as a request body. Plus sometimes, okay, sometimes suppose you, when you log in, right? Obviously, so that data that you send to the server, or let us say you are filling you are this mobile only, when you are purchasing, and then the credit card details or some banking account details or the address column that you are filling, so you are sending that address to the server, right? Or credit card details. So the inputs, that is known as inputs, user inputs, right? That will be known as user inputs, or we can say that as a form data as well. Why form data? Because there will be page, you will be filling those details, right? Credit card and all those things details. So the form data, or you can say user input, that go from user side to the server. So those things also will come under request body only. Plus the uploaded files. Okay, some, let us say you are making a profile on naukri.com and you are uploading your resume, right? So that resume is going to the naukri.com server, right? So that file is also the part of request body, correct? So this will rarely happen, means very often will happen, right? Because like in few scenario only you send some data like login or filling some details, or in very rare you upload file, right? But whenever you do that, will be also the part of request body only. And the URL, right? The request URL, that is the part of request body. So these three things make the part of request body. Then what is request headers? So with the request body, the request that is going on, that request is divided into two parts, that what we are talking about, request body and request header. So what is request body, or what is contained inside request body? We got the idea, right? The request URL, okay, the URL, plus if any user inputs you are sending, that thing, plus any file that you are uploading, that thing will be part of request body. Then what will be the part of request headers? So the part of request header here, if you see, if you just scroll down, as I said here, response header column, will come to this later on. You'll see request header column. Okay. So request header, these are additional information which goes to the server with the request body from user end, basically from the browser, right? So these are additional information that goes to the server from with the request body from user end, basically from the browser. This information includes some, like some value will be, some attributes will be there: accept encoding, accept language, cache control, connection, cookie, JSON ID, some token values, host, referrer, user agent, etc. Right? We do not have to remember this all. Few just you can remember just the name, right? So you see, if you see in this table, this you will get in every even in Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox, every year you'll get the, this is called bifurcation, right? Of that request. So that request went, when I'm clicking on that, I get the segregation or the bifurcation of that request, right? It divided into many things and all those things, right? So you see some of the attribute, right? We do not have to remember. Again, I'm repeating, right? If you are thinking that, hey, I have to remember this or I have to remember, no. Okay, answer it. You have to just understand. Okay, understand. We do not have to remember. We have to just understand this value. Do not get confused. I have to remember. I have to go in depth. No, right? You have to just understand. Okay. So few so in request header, few things will be there, like a common thing. You'll, with every request, whether it is for Amazon or any website, you'll see some of the things will always be common, like accept encoding, accept language, cache control, connection, keep alive, right? Some cookie data, cookies. I'll come to, we'll see it in detail about this cookie later on, but some cookies data, host, referrer, right? User agent here. These commons you will see, right? This is the additional information which goes with the request body, right? The URL that is going, and with that, this additional information that goes, that are kept under request header. In this cookie, as I say, I'll explain you later on. Cache, except, right? Except, again, no need to go in detail, just a little bit understanding, like This tells that in which languages, means what is the technology, or in which pattern the communication is happening, right? Then this encoding is there. Okay, language, the pattern of language. So that is what. Then keep alive. uh, um, Keep alive means connection. Keep alive means you can think like that, that this web browser is making request to the server that, hey, I am still there, I may do uh, other action with you, so keep the communication open, right? Like that. Then cookie, as I said, we'll see that in separate session. Host, will the host name, right? The main website name, you will see. A referral will be there. Okay, user agent will be there. User agent means they tells the means the browser sends the server a kind of information that, hey, using this this is a technology, you can say, or this is the agent through which I'm accessing your website, right? So here a detail about the browser will be there. Okay, so this thing, right? Again, no need to go in depth here, just overall understanding, right? And no need to remember this value. Okay, few these thing you can just understand. Referrer means referrer, I'll explain. Referrer means uh, the previous page. Okay, the information about the previous page from where you from right. Referrer means the information about the previous page for the next page. So as an example, I'll just show you. Let us say I am on this page, right? I am on this page. Okay, so you just remember this URL, correct? It's hope you can remember it. Okay, I'll just copy that and I'll put it here, right? Then what I'll do, I will clear all this thing and I'll click somewhere else. Just simply I'll click somewhere else. Okay, so I clicked on another mobile, right? Now this is the request. You see document slash HTML, the request here. You can see here elsewhere. Yeah. So this is the request, right? You can see here. Who complete request. You can see the same thing here, right? So this is the request which I made, right? Means I clicked. So for a normal people, that is a click. But here the things is happening in this way, right? Communication is happening between my browser and my server. So if you see here also request header. So if you see referrer, see the referrer is the previous that URL, right? If you see, you can match here. See, you see DPB or something RD dash, right? So here, right? The same thing. So you got the idea what is referrer? Means from the previous page. Suppose you are going to a new page, right? So from the previous page, from which you are going to the new page, the previous page information will be the referrer, right? Referrer. Okay. Again, from here, if I go to some other else, some other page, right? Page means I'm clicking, so a new page is coming, right? Means a new, you can say a new content is getting loaded. So that is a page we call. So if I click somewhere again, somewhere here again, right? So I'll go to that new page, right? So this existing page will act as a referrer for that page, right? Referrer. So few things just for understanding purpose you have to remember, and just you have to understand the concept, right? What is request header? So these are additional information which goes with the request body, right? Each request body has request headers, correct? Now response headers. Sorry, response. So same way, like how request is divided into request body and request header, the response is divided into two parts: response body and response headers. Now in response body, what will be there? The response that comes in code format or text format, correct? So obviously, let us say this is the response, right? This response came. So this always comes in code format, right? Yesterday only we looked into. So if you click here, uh, response, and you just click on raw here, right? So you see this text format. So this will be called response body, right? Response body. Okay, response body. And along with that, response headers will be there. So if you come back to the headers tab here, so you see on the first only you will see response headers. In this also same kind of some many things will be there, but few common you will see, like what common values, common attribute that we see in request header, like accept encoding, cache control, cookie, those things. Here also somewhat they will be there, plus other will be also there, right? Cache control, you can see content encoding, content type, cookies. Okay, many other thing, right? So again, only few just for understanding purpose we should know, otherwise no need to worry about that much. Okay, so cookies also here, right? Content encoding, content type, right? Date of communication, uh, yeah, date of communication, right? This time is GMT time. Okay, it's not India time, that's why this time is not matching with our India time here, right? You see, but yeah, so like that few information. So these are again additional information. Okay, these are additional information. Response, so I got the response body, right? Response body is the text format, that code that is that will be response body. But with that response bodies, additional information is sent by the server to the user, right? With that response body, right? So that is what response header, right? That is what response header is, correct? And these things will be there. These are additional information. Okay, main content, main thing that we see will these all thing we see that will be in the response, in the code format only, but this additional information will be there, right? So why this is there, right? Why this additional information is there? So see, that is what these things will be there, right? We are seeing now each response body has response header, correct? Like how each request body has request header, same way each response body has response header. Now, request headers and response headers make each user action or request unique to the server, so that the server can recognize that request uniquely out of so many same requests and sends the correct response, right? So you got the idea, like why this additional request header or response header is there, right? Why this is there? Because they make each user action or they make each request unique to the server, so that server can recognize that request uniquely out of so many same requests and sends the correct response, correct? So uh, this, let us say you are also browsing Amazon, I am also browsing Amazon, and like that 10 lakhs people are browsing Amazon, right? And to send to whom to what, right? To send what to whom, correct? To send, to reply, you can say to reply, to reply, right? To reply what to whom, what to whom. Okay, out of so many 10 lakhs or 1 crore, right? 1 crore people, how the server will know that hey, to whom what I have to send? Because so many people at the time will be using this Amazon. It's a very big website, correct? In this world, or at least in India, so many people, at least 10 lakh, right? Minimum you take, or 5 lakh also, let us say. So 5 lakh is a huge number. Now, how he will get the idea that hey, what that fellow has sent, and what 5 lakh people are sending me the request, and I have to reply them? How I'll recognize them? Okay, so that is why these are there. Okay, these things are there. The request headers and response headers are there. Okay. If you want to take an example, I'll give you one homework. Okay, that you do one thing. Open to Google Chrome. Open to Google Chrome, right? And in that open, you open to Google Chrome in your laptop, and open Flipkart or Amazon, whatever you can open. And in one Google Chrome you open Flipkart, and in other also open same Flipkart, right? Flipkart. And in one you search Adidas shoe, and in other you search Nike shoes. You'll see there will be never be a mismatch. Okay, where you are searching Adidas, there the Nike will come, and where you are searching Nike, there never it will happen. Even though your laptop is same, your internet is same, your IP address is same, then also it cannot happen because of these headers, right? Okay. So that is the importance of this header. Now we will talk about the method, right? The third, fourth schema of the HTTP protocol. Each request is of some type. The request is of some type or method. Generally, they are of 8 type. Out of these 8, the 4 are important. Okay, the above 4 are important. Get request. Okay, remember, get request. If you see with every request, this will be there. See here, post get, right? If even if you click, you will get the idea. Get this information you will get in any browser. Okay, get, post, delete. Okay, so total 8 types are there. 8 types are there. Out of that, 4 are very important. So any request which is of get, it means that just we have to it will be just used to fetch the information, to read the information. Okay, means hey, just go to the server and get back the information. Okay, get me back the information, to read the information. Then uh, same way, uh, post, right? Next important will be post. Okay, so post, it is used to create a new value or data in the application, or you can say in DB, or sending some data or user inputs. So those will be post request. Means remember that with any request, if you are sending some data, what kind of data? User inputs. What kind of user input? Suppose you are logging in, right? So there will be a page, right? A page, you will enter your username and you will enter password, and then you will click on login button. So when you click on login button, so a request will go, right? So that request will carry your username and password to the server. So the user input that you send is going with that request, right? Or let us say you are on a page and you fill the credit card details and you send to the server, or there is you uploaded your resume and you send to the server. So the request which carries all this thing to the server, all those requests will be a post. Type will be post, correct? So if a request is carrying some data, the user inputs with him, that will always be a post request. And generally you will always see, most of the time you will see get request. 60% time the things will be get. 30 percent times you will see post request, because post request happens very rarely, right? On any website, if you observe, very rare, like very less number of time you will be sending some data from your end. Otherwise you will be just doing click, right? So click will be always a get request, correct? Because you are just clicking, you are not sending anything from your side. Sending means you are not sending user input, right? You are just clicking. So those click will be get. If you are sending some details, post. Put. Okay, put means update an existing value in database or create a new value. So let us say some value, some existing value is there, and you are going to update that. Okay, so that will be a put request. Sometime for creating a new value also put request will be there, but generally for updating an existing value in application or in database, put request. Delete, right? If you are deleting anything, if you are doing delete operation, so that will be delete request. This put and delete request you will see very rare in any application. Okay, very rare. Okay, but yeah, in REST API they will be there. Okay, REST API, these 4 requests are most of, they're very common. Okay, API testing. Okay, so these are the 4 important types of methods. Other are also there, like options is there, head, connect, trace. They're not that of much important, but yeah, some little bit I have written then line over here for about those 4. But the rest of the 4, but these 4 are more important. Okay, get, post, put, delete, and that is the difference. Okay, many time it is asked in the interview as well. What is the difference between post and put? What is get request? Like that they will ask. Generally they will ask difference between post and put. Okay, post and put. So these get post put delete operations, this kind of request, right? They are almost referred as CRUD operation, right? Create, read, update, delete. This CRUD operation is there in any if you know a little bit of database, right? Database SQL language, right? Or if you have learned, so there create this kind of a statement will be there, right? Create a statement or read, update, or delete a statement. So the kind of thing is done by this kind of a request, right? Get is the read, post is the create, or insert you can say, put is the update, delete is the delete. Now there is one more schema left that we'll talk later on, the status code, right? Status code. So about a status code, yeah. So you see there will be a status code also. If you see here, 200, 204, 200, 200, right? If you click here also, you see the status 200, correct? So this is the fifth schema status code. So about that we'll talk about later on. There are around 5 kinds of status code. Okay, 5 kinds. 100 series, 200 series. So here you see all 200 series are there. 300 series, 400 series, and 500 series, right? So that we'll see later. Now we'll talk about a little bit on transaction. So what is transaction? We got an idea, right? Any user action that we did, basically that is a click, and that click or that user action, technically that is known as transaction. So right, so whatever user action we do, that technically it will be called as a transaction. And whenever we do a user action or transaction, it generates a HTTP HTML request to the server, right, in the form of URL, correct? Now a user action, okay, remember in performance testing, especially in performance testing, a user action can only be called as a valid transaction, right, in performance testing, when it is generating some request to the server and some response is received. Very important thing. That's why it's in bold. Okay, means any user action you cannot call it as a transaction. Okay, technically you cannot call any user action a transaction, right? Let us say for an example purpose. So if you see, uh, if I hover my mouse over here, nothing is coming, right? Let us say I'm clicking. Okay, so let me clear this. Here some requests are getting made, right? So automatically, even you do not do anything, sometime what happen, websites send some request in the backend. Okay, so these kind of requests are called ajax calls, right? Ajax calls, or they are also known as asynchronous calls. Okay, see, I'm not doing anything, I'm just ideal, even though you see some request is repeatedly being made, right? So these are called as ajax calls. Okay, ajax calls or asynchronous calls. So ignore about the, okay, for now. What I'll do, if I'm clicking here, you see anything happening there? No, right? If I'm clicking my on prime, a pop-up is coming. Okay, but nothing happened there. This is that same request being made. Ignore that. Okay. Now I have cleared. You see nothing is there. Now I'll go to prime and a pop-up came. But is something anything happened there? No, right? So you cannot call this as a transaction. You cannot call that, hey, clicking on prime or hovering my mouse on prime was a transaction just because something happened. No. Okay, this thing is happening late. Okay, these things are Ajax call. Even I'm not doing anything, something is happening. These requests are being made. Ignore that. I'm clearing that again. I'm going over here. So see, again, ignore that. See, anything happened? No, right? So you cannot tell that, hey, I just hover my mouse on Prime and this pop-up came, so it's a transaction. No. A user, that's what remember, a user action can only be called as a transaction in performance testing only when it generates some request to the server and some response is received. Got the idea? That here you see some, whenever you do something and parallelly you see some request being made and some response is coming, then only those kind of user action can be called as transaction. Okay, many times these are the examples of transaction. Okay, many times uh, JavaScript calls or checkboxes or drop down menu item or clicking on pop-up, they are generally not a part of performance testing, and many times they are not captured by performance testing tool, right? So you must have observed, right? There will be a page where there will be checkboxes and you have to put a check mark on that, or there will be drop down, from that you have to select something, right? Or there will be pop up and you have to click yes or no, right? So that is also a user action, right? That is also a user action. But if that user action, you have to check through F12. Suppose you are there are checkboxes and you are clicking on that, and if it is not doing anything over here, you cannot call that as a transaction. Same way, some JavaScript calls will be there, right? Like yesterday I shown on Flipkart, I was entering the password, wrong email ID, and it was throwing me a message immediately. So it doesn't mean that it was sending a request to the server. No, that happens on the page only, right? It has nothing to do with the server. Okay, and same way a drop down menu will be there. From that you are selecting something. Okay, and you see nothing is happening here. Okay, and right, or let us say you are clicking on some yes or no options pop-ups, right? And when you are clicking you see nothing happening here, so those cannot be termed as a transaction. Okay, remember, they can only be called as a transaction only when you do that thing. You click on check mark, or you click on that pop-up, or you choose from drop down and you see something happening, the a valid request going and response coming related to that, then only those can be called as a transaction. Okay, so you got the idea that every user action cannot be called as a transaction, right? Now for an example purpose, let us say here all is there, and see I clicked here all, right? And then something came, but anything happening on the left hand side, right hand side? See, again I'll show you. uh, Ignore that Ajax call that are repeatedly being made, so do not get confused. Now I'll go and click on this. A pop-up came. Wait. Okay, ignore that. I cannot stop this, right? This is starting with some FLS EU, right? EU. Ignore that. I'll just click on this drop down, and you see anything happened there? No, right? Nothing happened. So you see drop down. So I click. You cannot call this as a transaction, right? That hey, I clicked on that all, and then this drop down got loaded, so I'll call it as a transaction. No, okay, because nothing happened there. No request went to the server, right? But if I click any on from here, if I click on car and bikes, then also nothing is happening here. Nothing happening here. So we cannot call it as a transaction, right? Only those user action. Let us say I'll go to I'll click on electronics, and I'll click on electronics, and then pages whole page is changing. You see, and request is going. That will be a transaction. Or you see here sometime I just said, yeah, right. You see here checkboxes are there, right? So on many times on a website, if checkboxes are there and you are putting check mark over there, so and you see nothing is happening, you cannot call that as a transaction. Okay, but here you will see if I put a check mark over Redmi, something will happen. See, the whole content got changed, right? And you see yeah, request is being made. So here putting a check mark will be called as a transaction. So it's all depend on website to website, right? Maybe on many website you do you put a check mark on checkbox and nothing happens, so that is not transaction. But here it is a transaction, right? Because you see something happened, many things happened. You see a fully new request went. That request you can find in over here. I think this is the one. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, see here, and a response came, right? So that we have to take care, right? What is a valid transaction? Now one more thing. There can be multiple transaction on a single page. Okay, meaning of this is that it doesn't, let us say, uh, 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 what I meant to say is, let me show you Flipkart. So I launched the Flipkart website, right? So this will be a transaction, correct? Okay. Now let us say in search I'll type laptop and I'll search for laptops. So another transaction, and you see I move to new page. So remember that it doesn't always mean that when you do a transaction, page will change, right? Let us say we were on a different page, right, just now, and I searched laptop and then I clicked on search. So I moved to new page, right? So generally that is the flow. Means many times you'll see that when you are clicking, the page is changing, whole page is changing. But many a times on same page there can be multiple transactions. Okay, on the same page will not change, but there can be multiple transaction. Like, hey, uh, uh, you must have, you see, you will observe as you browse the more websites, right? You'll see, right, that you did something here, and you see the request is being made and response is being made, but whole content is not changing, only that part is affecting. It's a transaction. For an example, that's why I brought you here. Let us say I'll click on core i5. So when I put a check mark here, you'll see a request will be made, and this whole thing will be changed. The content will be changed, but other thing, this whole thing will not be changed. So it's like that I'm on the same page, only the content is getting changed, right? So that is what I mean. That every time if you are doing a transaction, it doesn't mean that page will change. For an example, if I click on here, I'll go to new page. It's completely new page, right? New page. But on same page also many things can happen. Transaction, many transaction can be there. So let us say I'll click on core i5, right? So you just focus on here and you focus on content, you'll see everything will change. I see. You'll see, this initial part has not changed, but this is very large. URL in the end something will be changed. Okay, must have changed, and you see the content changed. Okay, content changed. Okay, or or through F12 I'll just show you. I'll just click on I3 as well, right? Here I'll click on I3. See FH information, FH request. Okay, fetch request. Okay. JSON are also part of main request as well. They are also called as a main request as well. So we'll come to this. Okay, so you see the things change, and the two request, and this is the one post actually. Okay, post, right? Post request.
Oh, sir, actually, I have a question.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Is Sorry, is there any specific way to find out that this is a like valid transactions, in the sense this is the transactions and this is not a transaction? So means how do we come to know just looking at that particular network tab? So how do we distinguish in between them?
So when you do anything, you'll see something happening over here. Okay, that is the way.
Okay.
That is the only way. Mm. So
Sir, I have one doubt. So, like in every transaction, there should be a status, like because earlier I have seen in some of like when we are hitting, so in some of domain there is no status, and some is having 204 like this. So it should be 200 or like.
No, no. You will see generally 200 or 300 series, or you can see 100 series as well. Okay, 100 series also. 100,
Oh.
200, 300 series. The
And
status.
in some of domains there is some red symbol type. So we consider that transactions that uh, domains also.
Red means that something. Red means it's failing. Something is failing. Okay, it's failure.
Oh, okay.
So it will come with the experience. Okay, in the first day it will not come. You will have to
Yeah.
browse. You have to analyze. Right. The first person who asked that, is there any way to directly? No. You have to browse. You have to more understand more. Okay. So it will come with the experience. But this is
Okay.
how you do anything. Something must happening here. Then that transaction, that user action is called as a transaction. Right. Now
Yeah.
coming back, what I was explaining is uh, so as you said, right, I'm clicking on these check boxes and your content is changing, but whole page is not changing, right? So what I was saying, that on the same page there can be multiple transaction also. It doesn't mean that you did one transaction and whole page is changing. No, many times the whole page will not change. On that only, so you'll do something and you'll see something is happening, so that action will be termed as a transaction. Correct? Right? I may, and generally most of time you'll see that I clicked and whole page is changing, so obviously that very easily that is categorized as a transaction only. But sometime on one page also there can be many transaction. Okay, many transaction. Suppose here I'll type newest first. So let us say any request is being made on, yeah, see, fetch request is being made, right? Fetch request of JSON. It's a post request, and content also changing, right? So you see, so it's a transaction. It was a transaction. So on the same page you see many options. So clicking on newest first is a transaction. Okay, like that, right? Yeah, I'm not talking. Okay. So that is the thing, right? That there can be multiple transaction on a single web page as well. Okay. Now the last thing related to the transaction. Okay. One transaction or one user action consists of one HTML HTTP request or set of multiple HTTP HTML requests made to the server. Okay. Means what we have seen yesterday, you remember that when I was doing one action, one URL, one request was generating. I was doing another action, one another request was generating. I was doing another action, another request was generating. Right? So many time you'll see that one transaction, one action means one transaction. So many time you'll see that one transaction will generate only one request. Okay, only one request. So many time we'll see that some one transaction will generate only one request to the server. Or many time what will happen, that one request can have multiple requests to the servers. Sorry, one transaction can have multiple requests to the server. Okay, multiple requests to this. So generally for on an Amazon or here, uh, what I'm doing, only one request is made, right? So I'll show you on another website. See, I opened this page, right? So this is the main request. I see the main request document, and rest are its embedded resources. You can see it says CSS file, JS file. Okay, this is one more call, HTML code only. So we can call it as a secondary request because it is also type document only. It's not an embedded resources. Embedded resources will optionally CSS, JS, image, right, or icon, ICU. You'll see. But the main request is this one. Okay, or you can click also. You'll get the idea. Go to headers. See here, right? Now what I'll do. So you see this is there. Now what I'll do. I'll log in. So I think the data are already there. I'll just log in. Okay. So when I'm doing login, you see more than one request. Right? You can see here three requests here. This concept I'll talk later on. Here 302 3, as I said, the status code, right, that you were asking just now, the status code you can see of 100 series, but very rare you'll see 100 series. Generally you'll see of 200 series and 300 series. So 300 200. So 300 300 and 200. Okay, 200, three requests here. Okay, I just did what? I just did one transaction. I put the username, I put the password, and I just click on login. So that is one transaction. But it has generated three requests. It has generated three requests, and these are embedded resources. Embedded resources, you see CSS file, image, that will do not consider. So ignore that. We'll just come down. Just come down. You'll see some XHR request as well. Okay, XHR request here. These are also generally you see type initiator as jQuery. Type will be XHR. So they are also kind of main request only. Okay, main request. Fine. So this application I'll be covering. It's in session how to handle all these things. So forget about that. Just focus here. What I'm telling is that sometime, many a time, you'll see that one transaction and only one request will be made to the server. Many time it can happen that you did one transaction and there can be multiple requests going to the server. Multiple requests. So just before this, I just launched this URL. So you see only one request was being made. Now just log in. So three here, and then around 6 to 7 XHR requests were there on the downside. Okay, downside. Fine. So around how many requests here? Just for one transaction, around 10, right? 3 plus, you can just count here, 7 to 8 will be there. Just a lump sum idea, around 10 requests being made to the server. Plus here also some XHR is there. Okay. We do not consider the embedded resources. Remember, we do not consider the embedded resources. The embedded resources that you see, these all things you see, we do not consider them. Okay, we do not consider all the JS file. We do not consider them. We consider the main request and the XHR, or sometime XHR or JSON will be there. Like earlier here when I was doing this something here, right? I was changing.
Sir,
I was
any
clicking on this.
specific reason like we are not considering this embedded resources?
Yeah, we'll see that later on.
Okay.
So when I did something. So you see fetch request was being made, and this fetch request was of type JSON. Okay, JSON, type JSON. So so the JSON, right? So the main request, okay, main request, wait, of generally you see of document, the main request will be generally of HTML document, HTML HTTP document plus XHR, right? If XHR request is there, XHR will be also considered as the request only, the main request, or the JSON, right? JSON, like here in this scenario, JSON. Okay, JSON. So these will be considered as the request. So here I did one transaction. I'm doing only one transaction. Let us say I'll click on price high to low. So when I'm clicking price high to low, So you see the fetch request like JSON, this one is being made. It's a post request. This is being made. So I am doing one request, and I did one transaction, and then only one request is being made. So most of the time you'll observe that you are doing one transaction and only one request is being made. Many times there will be one transaction and multiple requests can be made. Multiple requests. In that multiple request, it will be combination of HTTP, or it cannot be HTTP, XHR, JSON. There can be multiple HTTP, there can be multiple XHR, there can be multiple JSON as well. Okay, so this can happen depending on scenario to scenario and website to website. Okay, website to website. Fine. So here only on this website only, when I just launched that website, that URL, right? You remember we were on the login page. I did one action, means I just launched that. So that is one action. You can say that is one transaction, and only one request was there. But just when I am doing login, you see many requests we say, right? Three requests here and some XHR requests below, right? And we do not consider embedded resources. Okay, remember. So what we got an idea, and if you want to filter out, so here tabs will be there. Okay, tabs will be there. You just want to see only XHR request, click on this many XHR requests. If you just want to see JavaScript, click on this, so it will be filtered out. Okay, generally this all tab will be selected, all tab. So there all everything will be shown. Same is there, this is in, I'm showing in Google Chrome. Same will be there in Mozilla Firefox. Okay, if you want to see HTML request or XHR uh, or any other, right? So tabs are there, you can put, or generally all will be selected, right? So what we got here, that sometime one transaction can consist of one HTTP HTML request, or sometime a set of multiple HTTP HTML requests to the server. Okay, and in them embedded resources will be there. Okay, embedded resources will be there. So whenever it is multiple requests, also in them embedded resources are there, because they are the main part. Okay, they make the website beautiful. So embedded resources will be there, but we will not be considering the embedded resources. Our focus should be on the main request. Apart from that, if any other request being made, right? Like sometime you do one action, one transaction, one request, or sometime there will be multiple requests. So our focus should be on, if there are multiple requests, so our focus should be on the multiple request also. Now these all, each of these HTTP HTML requests, let it be HTTP or XHR or JSON, they are also called as calls. Okay, in industry you'll see people calling them as a calls as well. So calls means nothing, request only. Okay, request. Now these three words, okay, hits, request and transaction, and their counts in per unit time. So there is a word called hits. Okay, hits. So hit means, let us say you did one transaction here only. I did login. So I did login transaction. And you see, when I am doing login transaction, so there are multiple requests being made, right? Plus embedded resources also are there. They are also getting retrieved. So sum of everything, right? Total of everything, even the main request and the embedded resources, how many happened? So you see here it's showing 79. It's total these 79 are there. So this will be termed as hits. Okay, hits, right? So what is the meaning of hits? Hits is the combination of the one or multiple HTTP HTML request plus the embedded resources. Okay, plus the embedded resources. So the sum, right? Total number of all these requests, the main request, the redirecting request, right? All their embedded resources are known as hits, and for that particular transaction. Okay. If we talk about request, so request means only the main request, not the embedded resources. Without their embedded resource. So let us say for this example only, uh, For this example only, three main requests here, and there are these many XHR requests. So 3 plus this XHR, you count, right, whatever it is. So those will be termed as, those are the requests for that transaction, right? In that case, embedded resources are not counted. Okay, embedded resources are not counted. So for a transaction, let us say you are doing a transaction. So if you want to focus on hits, right, hits. So hits will be combination of all the requests plus the embedded resources. And if you talk about requests, so it means only the request, not the embedded resources. Okay, not the embedded. And there is a measurement for this in performance testing. There is measurement goes on. Many people talk like hits per second, hits per minute, hits per hour. Same way, request per second, request per minute, request per hour, right? So we'll see, you'll understand this more whenever we start using JMeter. And transaction also, right? So in the scenario, how many transactions are there in the user flow, right, the business flow? So that is what transaction are, the user action, right? They are also measured in some measurement like transaction per second or transaction per minute or transaction per hour, right? Like that. Now let us talk about these three things. And yeah, then we'll be done for today. So browser cache, fine. Browser cache are the files or the area, you can say. Hmm, clear a little bit statement I have written wrong. Just a second. Just a second. This is storage area where few files are kept. Yeah. So browser cache, right? So this is a storage area in the browser memory. Okay. Or you can say this is a browser memory also, or a storage area. Yeah, same thing. This is a storage area in the browser memory where few files are cached or stored locally, right? Whenever we visit and browse a web application, right? These files include any documents building that web page, such as HTML files, CSS, JavaScript, image, graphics, multimedia content, etc. So what happens is whenever you visit any website, so you will see that uh, some file of some content, okay, some content of that website will be stored locally. So to show that, let us understand this. Here it will not show. Okay, also in Google Chrome. So you just press Control Shift Delete. Okay. Whenever you press Control Shift Delete, you'll see this clearing the history page will come, right? So here you'll see cookies, right? Cookies. You'll see caches, right? Caches. So you see cookies, and it's saying that cookies from 45 sites. Oh, sorry, I'm not talking about cookies. Quick cache. So you see cache, and it's showing that image and files, right? 307 MB. So what I'll do, I'll delete all this thing. So I'm clearing this. So now after clearing, if I again press Control Shift Delete, you see cache is less than 1 MB, right? Less than 1 MB cached image. Now what we will do, we'll open few website, flipkart.com, flipkart.com, amazon.in, mintra.com. Okay, like that. So for now just three. So I've opened three websites. Right now just home page I've just opened, and now let me press Control Shift Delete, and you must see that cache size got increased 6.8 MB. Now let me do what? Let me browse. So let me click mobile here. So I'm just browsing. So just browse on Flipkart only, and let me just see the size of cache. So you see got increased to 13 MB. Right. So earlier it was 0. Then I visited three websites, so it increased to some 6 MB or 8 MB. It was there. Now I visited a few pages on just Flipkart, and it got increased by 6 MB more. So what is happening? Okay. So whenever you visit a website and you browse, so some content of that website is stored locally in the browser memory. That stored locally, that is termed as cached. Okay, we call it as a cached. Why this mechanism is there in browser? So that when you close this browser and again next time or after a few days again you visit Flipkart, and again you load the same page, let us say you load the same Flipkart page, home page, or you load this same paintings page or whatever. So few of the information from that the file which are stored there, they will be immediately loaded from that browser instead of getting called from server side. And in that way what will happen, response time will become less. You will see less response time. Okay, you will face less response time because few files were already there in your system, right? So they just got loaded from there, and they were not called from the server side, right? So just to show you, to demonstrate this, let me again clear all this thing. Control Shift Delete. Clear, right? So now everything is 0. Now what I'll do, I will press F12 and I'll just open Flipkart home page one. So when I'm opening Flipkart, you see here this whatever the JavaScript is there, image is there. You can see JPEG is there, JPEG, JavaScript. You see, and you see the size here. You see size, right? Size column means I have cleared everything caches, and I visited Flipkart. It means that I've freshly visited because previous all the data which is stored I've cleared. So I freshly visited Flipkart. So all this component got loaded from the server, right? Means the Flipkart. Now what I'll do, uh, disable cache, just to show you, right? Generally how this works. So let us say you visited Flipkart. Now you close the website, and tomorrow when you are again opening, so I'll just clear this, and now I'll just refresh. It's kind of just refresh. Okay. Let us say you are tomorrow. So you'll observe that you see few components, it's showing memory cache. Okay, now it's not showing the size or a disk cache. Okay, or disk cache or memory cache or disk cache combination. Okay, combination. So what has happened now? Most of the things it's showing as a disk cache, right? Because they were stored in my browser, and when I just refresh, so instead of this thing getting called from the server, they just got loaded quickly from that memory, browser memory, reducing the response time. Okay, reducing that. So this is why, and that is why you see, like I visited 3 website and I browsed Flipkart. So you see the cache size was increasing. Okay, it can increase to like 600 700 MB also, like if you have not cleared the cache. So every website some content, okay, these are called as static content which do not change. Static means which do not change. We'll say see them stored in your browser, so that whenever you again revisiting that, they will be loaded from that, saving the response time. Okay, and giving the user uh, a good means a faster response time next time when that user is visiting that website. Okay, so that is what caching helps in decreasing the response time of a web application to user at user end whenever that user visits that application repeatedly. Okay, now cookies, right? So cache is a simple concept, cookie is little bit tricky question. So cookies, these are a small piece of data sent by the web application to the browser and vice versa. These are a small piece of data sent by the web application, or you can say server, to the browser, and then vice versa, then browser to the server. Okay. Whenever the user visits it, means visit that web application, right? These are these are stored in the browser using which the user is browsing that website. Okay, these are stored in the browser, in that browser using which user is browsing that website. These are part of the headers. These are part of the headers, right? So what will happen whenever you first time visit a website? That website will assign you a cookie value, cookie value. And next time whenever you do any action, that cookie value, so first time that value, this piece of data will come from the web application to the browser, and after that whenever whatever action you do, then from the browser it will go back to the uh, application. Okay, so to show you here, first I'll show you like this. I'll show you on Flipkart, it's a little bit easy. So let me press Control Shift D. Okay, so what this cookie does, first we'll understand that. Okay, then I will come to that. So remember, so you got this, these are a small piece of data that's sent by the web application to the browser, and then vice versa, right? First from web application to the browser, then browser to web application. When the user visits it, right? These are stored in the browser using which the user is browsing that website. These are parts of the headers. Which header? Request and response header, both headers. Okay. Cookies, why cookies is implemented? Cookies remember the user session for that user on that web application, and hence it helps the HTTP protocol to remember its previous state, because HTTP protocol is a stateless protocol. Right? HTTP protocol is a kind of Gajini. So it helps the HTTP protocol to remember its previous state. So how it works, we'll see with example. So let us say I am here. Let me press Control Shift Delete. Again, you'll see cookies here, right? Currently showing from 3 sites. I'll delete. Now again, I'll press Control Shift Delete. So currently cookies is none, right? 0. Now I'll visit Flipkart. So I have visited Flipkart, and if I press Control Shift Delete, you'll see it will show you cookies from three sites, right? Really, means from the Flipkart only, some cookies got stored here. Now forget about that for now, right? What I'll do, I will okay, I'll click on this toothbrush. Toothbrush. Okay. So Oral-B has so many electric toothbrush. Okay, so we'll click any one of them, right? And then what I'll do, I'll click on Add to Cart. So you see uh, one toothbrush is there in my cart. I have not logged in. Remember, I have not logged in, but it's there, right? Now I close this browser. Okay, I close this browser, and tomorrow or after few hours, again you open the browser and again you visit the this Oral-B. Sorry, you visit this uh, uh, the Flipkart. You will see this will be there. So just for an example purpose, I'll just open one more Google Chrome and separate Google Chrome. You see another separate Google Chrome, and I'll visit this flipkart.com. Here, this is another Google Chrome, right? And I visited there and freshly, and you see here it's showing one. I'll just click in this, and you see it's showing the toothbrush, right? So here it is there, and in another Google Chrome also it's there. I didn't add it, but it's showing. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll just do one thing. I will press anywhere. I'll just press Control Shift Delete, and I will, I will uncheck all those things. Okay, everything. I've unchecked that. Only this cookie is checked because I'll just, since I've checked this one, I've unchecked this one. Means I'll just be this cookies thing is selected, and just I'll clear this. Means the cookie will be cleared. All the cookie, whatever it's stored, will be cleared, right? Now I'll come here. I'll just first I'll come here. I'll just refresh it. You see that toothpaste gone. It's not there in the cart. Same way here as well. That toothbrush gone. It's not there in the cart. Why? Because that cookie was deleted. The cookie which was stored, that was. So what cookies does then? So whenever I visited Flipkart, I did some important action. I visited Flipkart and I did some important action. What that action I did? I selected one toothbrush and I added that in the cart. So that information, that part of history, you can say, was saved in a value. How the cookies look, I'll show you. But you say it was stored in a value, right? Value. Now, next time when I open a website, another Google Chrome, and I visit Flipkart, it was showing there as well. Means since that value was there in my cookies, it was stored. Again, if you are opening the Google Chrome and you are visiting Flipkart, that value will be there, and that whenever you visit Flipkart, that value will go from the browser to the Flipkart, and it will tell you, hey, this fellow has added a brush in his add to cart. So whenever you are sending response, send that brush as well. Okay, send that brush as well. So like that. So it's not like that it will work this for time only. You can try this. Let us say you add few products in your cart, but you do not log in, right? I have not logged in. You see, login thing is not required here, right? That is a different thing. Here no need to log in only. So you add few products to my cart, right? And you close your browser, you shut down your laptop as well, and after 1 hour 2 hour or after next day, you again open your laptop, you open the Google Chrome, you visit your Flipkart, you will see those items will be there. Why it will be there? Because that particular user action was stored in that cookie, and whenever you are visiting the cart, that cookie was going, means whenever you visited the Flipkart next time, right after reopening your laptop, that information goes to that server telling him that, hey, this fellow has added these things to your cart. So whenever you are sending the response, you just in the cart. Okay, so this example I'll show you in more better way. So let us say Google Gmail is there, right? Or Facebook is there. Okay, earlier people use Facebook very widely. So you do one thing. You log into Gmail. Okay, you enter the Gmail ID, you enter the password, and you log in, and you do not sign out. Okay, you do not sign out, simply close the browser. Or same way you log into Facebook. Fine, you log into Facebook, and you log in. Okay, it's showing in Hindi, not an issue. Yeah, so you log in, right? And so obviously Facebook dashboard page will come. You do not log out, you just close the browser, and tomorrow again you come to Gmail. You open Gmail, you will see you will not be asked to enter the password or username. You will directly land to the inbox page. You will directly land to the inbox page. No need to enter this again. Same way you open Facebook, and there is no need to enter the detail again. You will directly land to the dashboard page. Okay, but you clear that cookies by pressing Control Shift Delete, and you just refresh. You will see that even though you have not logged out, right, manually, the logout button will be there, right? You have not clicked that. Simply you just clear the cookie and you just refresh. You'll see automatically you are logged out. So this is what cookies does. Okay, it helps the people or the user to do the transaction with unique way, secure way, and with ease. Ease means in a easy way, right? It helps in the user. Let us say a user who is signing in, and it is my personal laptop, so I know that no one can hack it, and I do not want to repeatedly, let us say I have to visit Google Gmail every day or every hour, right, every few hours, and I do not want to log in here every time. So that cookie is helping me, right? That I'll just sign in one time, and I'll not log out, I'll not sign out, and simply I'll close the browser. I can shut down my laptop, I'll go somewhere again. Let us say after 2 or 3 hours, I need, so I'll open my laptop again, I'll just click on Gmail directly, I'll go to the inbox page. It will not ask, because my session was stored, my information was stored. And whenever next time I'm visiting, uh, with this browser, right, that that value will go to the Gmail, saying that, hey, this value is, this fellow is already logged in. His login is saved in my this thing. You can match. If it is matching, do not ask him to sign in, just directly send him the inbox, uh, right, inbox thing. Okay, inbox page, right? So that is what cookies does. And if you clear, then obviously automatically those thing will be removed. And next, when you are clearing this thing, as I said, or I have shown you, when you are clearing and you are refreshing, so when you are refreshing, that request is again going to the server, right? But with that server, that value is not going, because it has been deleted. So server is not recognizing that that fellow has done anything with me. I do not think he has done anything me. So he is just sending you kind of fresh page. Okay, fresh page, it's a fresh page. Because why it's fresh page? Because if as a fresh, right, fresh means as a new user, if you visit and if you go to my cart, you will see nothing there, right? So that's why this thing is gone. Or let us say Gmail, right? So if you, as I said, if you are clearing that cookie and if you are refreshing, automatically you will be logged out. Because after clearing and when you are refreshing, the request is being made, right? And the server is sending that, means that value is not going. So the server will send you again that this fellow is not logged in. How I'll see that he's logged in? Ask him to log in again. So you'll be asked to log in again, right? how this looks. So to show you, uh, first let me clear the cookies. Let me press F12. Then let me press www.amazon.in. So where is that main request here? Wait. So whenever you, so here it has came in cookies as well. Uh, just a second. When I'm first time loading, why that request is not shown? Some issue going on. Okay, wait. It's getting redirected. Why this is happening? Or I'll show you in Google Chrome. Let it be there. It's not working properly. Here we'll see. So let me delete everything. At least cookies. Let me delete. Then me press F12. Then let me visit www.amazon.in. Okay. So here, this is the main request. You see www.amazon.in. So that cookie, this is the first time I visited because I deleted every previous data and I visited, right? So the cookie first time it comes from the browser, from the application to the user end, right? So you see here the cookie data, the session data. You just remember this value, okay? It's something with I'll write here, starting with 260 and it's ending with 84350. 4350, right? It's ending with that, and some other thing is given, expiration and other thing. Forget that. Now, what I'll do, I will clear this and I'll click somewhere else. Let us say I'll click on this TV. So when I clicked on this TV, let us say which is this request, any of these two. No, here this one document, right? It will be of type document. So yeah, you can see here, right? This the URL. The address will be there. The request will be there in the URL. Plus, it will reflect here as well. Right? You can match. You can match this. Right? But come down. So you see, where is the request header? So that ID, you remember that ID, along with some more thing, right? Some more token kind of thing. You see, this is what the token is, and the main ID is over here. That that goes to the server, and again this thing, same thing will be reflected in my again in response as well here. Okay, it will come maybe if it will come. You browse and you'll see it will be there in response also. It's not coming, maybe I'll do it again. Not an issue, but first try to understand what has happened. See this value. Okay, so first time when I visited Amazon, right, Amazon, so Amazon assigned me this value. So first time when I visited, this value was present where? It was present in response header, right, on the top. So it assigned me that value, right, first time. Now after that, whatever action I'll do with that action in the request header, that value with it session kind of ID, this automatically generate, will be going to the server. And this is what it will help the server recognize that what this user has done. So let us say if you have logged into Amazon, or let us say it was a Gmail, and if you have logged into Gmail, this will be the information which will be stored in your browser locally as a cookie value. This is cookie. And let us say when next time you have closed the browser and everything, and next time again you are starting the system, and again you are visiting Gmail, you have not cleared anything, right, just visiting, so this value will be there, right? So when you are visiting Gmail, the request will go, and with that request, this value will go in the headers. And when this value will go, the server will recognize this value, and he will say that, hey, this fellow is already logged in, so do not ask him to log in again, directly send him the inbox page. Or same with the Flipkart example, you see that I added few cards, so that information will be stored in this kind of values, right? This is what you cannot understand, but server will understand. Now again I close the Flipkart, and again after few hours I open Flipkart again. Whenever I'm opening Flipkart again, so that Flipkart request is going to the server. With that, these values will be there, right? For that also, this concept is there for any website. And when that value will go to the server will recognize, hey, this user has added something to the cart. So when I'm sending the response, I have to send that value what he has added to him as well. And that's why you are seeing that value, you see that brush, right, brush in added in the cart. But when I'm clearing the cookie, right, you see I cleared the cookie, means I cleared this value. So after clearing the cookie, again when I'm sending the request, I'm refreshing means again sending that request, so that whenever that request is going, this value is not going. So server is treating that this fellow is a new kind of, right, new user, new session, you can say that is known as new session, new user. And hence you see that the cart thing will be gone, right? The value that you added in the cart will be gone. Or if you have logged into Gmail, you will be automatically logged out, and again you will be asked to log in. Okay, so that is the impact of cookies, and this is why the cookie is implemented, to make the connection secure plus easy for the user, and it helps the HTTP protocol to remember its previous state. Okay, because HTTP protocol is a stateless protocol. And user session, okay, new user session or old user session. Old user session means if you are visiting a website repeatedly and your previous cookie and cache is saved, so it's kind of uh, existing user session, or you can say old user session. New user session means whenever you are deleting previous cookie and cache and you are revisiting that website, so that is new user session. So let us say in our every browser you must be aware of this mode called incognito mode, right? Incognito mode, this mode, you see what is written here. You are in incognito, your browsing history, your cookies data, this all thing will not be saved, right? So that's why whenever you browse through anything through incognito mode, so browser has a feature, right, that whatever you do, whatever website you visit, obviously cache will be stored, cookies will be stored. So you do your activity, but when you are closing, automatically those will be deleted, and hence this thing will not be stored, right? Again, next time when you are coming and opening Flipkart or something, you will see nothing will be there, your previous information will not be there, because you are in incognito. And you see Chrome won't save this information, right? Cookies thing or browsing thing, right? This incognito is there in Mozilla Firefox also. There they call it as a new private window, something, new private window. Okay, so you must be aware of this, right? Yeah. So that is the impact of cookies, right? And user session, so old user session or new user session. Generally in performance testing, we practice every time new user session implementation, okay, while recording or while replaying, right? New user session. So one example of flip this cookies and cache, right? Let us say there, this is a fellow which who watches Hotstar, right? For which who watches IPL on Hotstar, correct? Now on IPL, on Hotstar, the IPL, whenever you visit, the 5 minutes it will show you for free, correct? 5 minutes it will show you for free. Now this fellow will visit Hotstar, okay, and he will watch the 1 over 5 minutes. Generally 1 over will be how much? 5 minutes, right? So he will watch it for free. Now once that 5 minute is over, then that website will say, hey, your 5 minute is over, now you sign in, otherwise we will not show you any content, right? So what that fellow will do, he will clear the cookie and cache, right? Generally he has written wrong. I just taken this screenshot from somewhere else. It's not cache, it's cookies. Okay, cookies is the main responsible who remembers your user session. So he will clear the cookies, or let us say no need to clear the cookie also, you can watch through incognito mode. So let us say he visited Hotstar through incognito mode. He watched IPL for 5 minutes. Then Hotstar is saying after 5 minutes that, hey, your 5 minute free session is over. Now you log in. So what he will do, he will close the browser. When you close the browser, browsing history, cookies data, everything will be closed, deleted. Now again, when he can open incognito mode, and again he will visit Hotstar. So his previous data is deleted, right? So Hotstar will think that this fellow is again new, and again he will show him 5 minutes uh, match for free, right? So like that, if he does this for 20 times, so one inning is he watched for free, okay? Because the server doesn't recognize him, because every time he's deleting the cookie, right? Every 5 minutes, and he's treated as a new user, and hence he can watch the whole match for free, okay? Whole match for free, right? So all these things that we discussed will is generally implemented in the tool, any tool, performance testing tool. Okay, that's why these are the basics that we have to understand. So next day, tomorrow will where we left at this point. So from here I'll continue back, and we'll see other thing, right, in demo 5 or day 5.